Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you are a brand new subscriber or a brand new viewer. My name is Kyle. Today we're reviewing the film Babylon, which was written and directed by Damien Chazelle. It's his third film after the incredible success of Whiplash and La La Land. The movie tells a quote-unquote story about the rise of talkies in the late 1920s in which various actors, producers, executives, directors are impacted by the new wave of cinema. Whiplash was a movie that came out of nowhere and yet became one of the best films of the year, and in my opinion, one of the best movies of the 21st century. I think the movie is a terrific psychological thriller filled with music that feels like you're watching action sequences. And moving from scene to scene actually was done with grace rather than just the moment you feel like you're intrigued by these characters. He just says, nope, we're on to the next scene. Because he would never do something like that. Guys, if you haven't caught my drift yet, I'm sorry to report, but I did not like this movie. Babylon, to me, is the biggest disappointment of this year that I've seen thus far, and I hope that I do not see any more films that are even remotely like this or feel like this. See this film right here? This movie was a landmark of cinema in 1990, and unfortunately I was not alive to see Goodfellas when it came out. However, I have been alive to see the various spin-offs, knockoffs, rip-offs, parodies, whatever you want to call it, Goodfellas. There are so many that were made. And in 1997, there was a movie called Boogie Nights by Paul Thomas Anderson. It managed to be the best recreation of the feel of Goodfellas I've ever seen. It also managed to be funny and tonally consistent. Things that this movie definitely is not. This is one of the biggest cinematic question marks I have seen in recent memory, because there are so many sequences in this movie where I just sat there going, what the hell am I watching? There are many moments where I'm like, is this supposed to be intentional? Like Damien Chazelle is putting this in there thinking it's funny? Or is it just, he thought it was actually kind of serious and it just turned out to be the biggest unintentional comedy of the year? The only problem with unintentional comedies is that you're supposed to be laughing at the things that are supposed to be awkward and supposed to be taken seriously, but I wasn't laughing. It's like the movie wants to be a comedy, a drama, at times this sort of scandalous, erotic thriller. We can throw in a bit of horror in there and a little bit of fantasy because the things that happen in this movie are so ridiculous. And it just doesn't succeed in any of those genres because there's no sense of tonal consistency in this movie at all. Babylon is the kind of movie where I wish I could see the director's statement. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with what that is, when you're creating a film or a project of any kind, you have to write a synopsis. And I wish I could see the synopsis of this movie, like the way it was written originally. I wish I could see it because I don't know what the movie's about. Right after the synopsis, you have a director's statement in which you talk about, why do I want to make this movie? What's the impact I want to deliver to the audience? What do I want them to take away from the movie? What's the theme? What am I really going for? I wish I could see that director's statement because, honestly, watching this, I don't even think Damien Chazelle knows what his own director's statement is. Does he want to make something that glorifies Hollywood or demonizes it? Because it feels like he's trying to do both, but that's like trying to have a chocolate cake while also having this vanilla pudding on the side. They don't mesh. The movie is also 3 hours long, and in the past week, I have seen 2 movies that are 3 hours long, and they have no reason to be that long. This film could have had a solid half hour trimmed. There's a prologue in this movie, guys. A prologue. And I will say this now. If you are somebody who was on board with that prologue, like you're laughing, you're having a great time watching all this putrid stuff on screen, then honestly, you're going to enjoy yourself for 3 hours. For me, I thought, this is absolutely bizarre. And I don't understand why it's bizarre, but I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe Damien Chazelle is starting the movie off like this, and he's going to give us a grand reason for why he is doing the things he's doing, other than the sole sake of, oh, we're just going to have gross out stuff because I think this is funny. And unfortunately, the latter is what happened. It's like on top of Boogie Nights, which was a successful and very endearing comedy drama, he also decided to rewatch or watch all of Adam Sandler's bad comedies, complete with inappropriate jokes, toilet humor, and lines in which the spaces between them are just supposed to have audience laughter, but you're just sitting there confused out of your mind thinking, wait, is this supposed to be funny? Like, seriously. And that's what this movie feels like, a complete hodgepodge of different movies that are supposed to subconsciously tell the audience that they're watching something that feels unique, but it just feels like a spilling, a splattage of things that don't make any lick of sense. And what bothers me about talking about this film so negatively is that there are 3 scenes in the movie that I thought were absolutely fantastic. One scene in particular is one of my favorite scenes I've watched in a movie this year. My favorite scene involves an entire cast and crew trying to get one take down while every conceivable distraction just comes their way. When talkies became a thing, they had to have the cameras in the sound booths because the sound of the motor running was so loud. I thought that was great. And at the same time, it was very relatable because when I made my thesis film, and if my lead actor's watching this review and he's watched it till this point, he'll know what I'm talking about. We were trying to get a monologue out of him, and every single noise you could possibly imagine occurred in the background with every take we did, and it annoyed the hell out of me. So I thought, wow, this is actually brilliant. Props to Damien Chazelle. It is a pity that the rest of the movie feels so childish and moronic. A person I was excited to see in this movie was Tobey Maguire, and his introductory scene is one of the 3 scenes that I thought was great. I thought he was excellent. Where it goes from there, I can't say the same. And I really feel like this is the kind of movie that is up to you, like your subjective opinion. This is a very subjective looking movie because I feel like it's going to divide people. There is just so much crap in this movie that did not need to be there at all. There are so many moments in the film where if I was in the editing room, I would have just said, just cut the scene. It has nothing to do with what you're seeing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There is a theme that Chazelle is trying to do, but then there's 2 other themes that he's trying to do. So he's not even focused on a central theme. And when there's no focus on the central theme, and there's no focus on a central character because you're focusing on an ensemble piece, the movie just consistently falls apart. And I'm sure people are thinking, Kyle, you love this movie, Magnolia, but it's a movie that's essentially about nothing, right? Well, while that might be the case, there was at least a tonal consistency, and the characters flowed through a central narrative of connectivity. This movie is just, it's really about nothing, but the idea is, well, it might be about nothing, but we're telling a lot, so it must be about something, right? And to add insult to injury, I don't think it's even a good-looking movie. Their attempt to try to recreate an older film feel just doesn't work if everything else doesn't work on top of it. And the color just looks so muted and just so, it looks like it's a very digital movie that was converted to look like a film. I feel bad about this because I do think the actors in the movie are great. Of course, you have Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, and you have newer comer, I guess, Diego Calva as a character named Manny. I actually liked him in the film, although he made a couple of very, very stupid choices that, yes, I understand where he was thinking, but at the same time, they were dumb, stupid choices. I liked the character, but the biggest issue with him is the biggest issue I have with all of the characters in the movie. The moment Chazelle was trying to focus on them and get the audience very intrigued in them, he's like, nope, next scene. And the worst thing that a movie can do, outside of simply bore me, is the idea that whoever's making it, they think that their ideas are absolutely brilliant. So brilliant that they can create an ending where they can simply establish, this is the art that I have created. And instead of feeling unique and uplifting, it was so pretentious, it honestly made me angry. I walked out of this movie angry. The atrocious tone, the looseless story structure, the movie just feels so lost, and it never quite finds its footing throughout 3 hours. How is that possible? Honestly, it's shocking to me. This whole film just feels like it was a series of decisions, and like every decision was just either weird or just purely wrong. Like if I was sitting in the writer's room, I would have taken the script, thrown it in a fire, and said, we gotta start all over again. Or if you want to make something this juvenile, we'll have a director's cut for you on Blu-ray, but the version in the theater needs to be chopped severely. I've heard a lot of movies in which directors had their visions butchered, and it feels sad, but this is one of those times where I wish his version was butchered severely. And I kept thinking, what grade am I going to give this movie? I originally was going to give it a C, but then I woke up this morning, and I just thought, nope, it's worse than that. I'm going to give Babylon a C- right now. It is so close to hitting that D range because of the ending of the film. But what saves it and puts it into that C range are the actors, because they are trying, and I see the effort there. They are giving good performances. But every single time they are about to have their moment to shine, and I want Chazelle to focus, that inner 12-year-old self just has to come out and ruin it. Now, this is just one hombre's opinion. So if you loved the movie, or if you really liked the film, let me know down in the comment section below. Whatever your opinion of Babylon is, let me know down in the comment section below, because I feel like this movie is going to have a lot of people who are going to absolutely adore it in every way, shape, or form. And I would like to know why. This is one of those movies I was questioning myself the whole time. So if you're somebody who loved it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please put them in the comment section below. In the meantime, guys, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like, and also hit the notification bell. All the social media links are found in the description box below, as well as my business website, kjgpictures.com, that is also in the description box below. It's weird talking about a movie that I dislike. It's been a while since I've done that, but this movie created such a strong and angered reaction out of me that I just had to sit down and talk about it. And who knows, I might make a spoiler review. I might do a video essay. Although that might require me to rewatch the movie, which I do not want to do. So I might do something spoilery, I might not, but thank you guys if you stuck to the end of this review. I appreciate you so much. Thanks, and stay tuned.